My name is Christian Bernard Magnongui. I am originally from the Republic of Congo, Brazzaville, and I'm presently a resident of the United States. So I wrote two books. One is called The Power of Musical Sound, and the second one is called The Pyramid Mystery Resolved, a scientific solution to challenges regarding the Earth's magnetic field and climate change. So I am on a mission to inform government and inform the public about the message in this book.
So maybe we can delve into it then a little bit. How did you come across this this power? How did you discover what you talk about in your book?
Well, it was like you went to bed and you woke up in the morning. You have, I have this powerful experience. Was that true? But when you practice spirituality, everything has a meaning. Everything's happened for a reason. I follow a spiritual path, and in my spiritual path, I have a spiritual guide called the Mahanta. Actually, we refer to him as the God consciousness. On my birthday, I had nowhere to go in the morning, and I just decided that I should just stay home because it was the first time I wanted to celebrate my birthday in the United States. And then I slept because I went nowhere. In the night, in the dream, I had a spiritual visit by my spiritual guide, the Mahanta. In the dream state, he brought me into Egypt. So we went to Egypt and we landed inside the pyramid of Giza. So I was there, very surprised because the consciousness usually will never bring you in a place like that, I thought, in that moment. But since we were there, I looked at him. He was standing close to me, looking at me. And I was so amazed to admire that beautiful complex. But then my attention went on top of the pyramid. The pyramid was having a spiritual consciousness, which means at the top of the pyramid, there was the universe. The universe was reflecting. And then there was so much geometrical design. I couldn't understand, but I was just enjoying. Many things happened in the pyramid while I was there with the God consciousness, which I cannot say here because certain things must be kept private. So when I woke up, I just couldn't imagine what was going on. Why this visit inside of the pyramid? And eventually, as a spiritual student, I went into contemplation to understand what was the God consciousness telling me. And eventually, I came to realize that God was telling me to investigate the pyramid, to learn about the pyramid. Well, I was already working on my second book, which was volume 2 of the book of music, The Power of Musical Sound. And since I was in Boston, something happened too in Boston. I need to explain. I was asked to move from Boston to Washington State. I started to make the connection. Why was I asked by someone in my dream telling me you got to move to Washington State? And I did not want to leave Boston because I just published my first book and I wanted to make some sale. But these visitors in my dream told me, no, you got to go. So here I was in Washington State, and then the powerful experience of the pyramid just happened. So after doing much research on pyramids, reading a lot, I have come to clearly understand there was something wrong going with climate change because things started to fall all together. There was the sun that was used in the pyramid, and then I started to enjoy the experience. So this is how it started. It started by an out-of-body experience that brought me inside of the pyramid of Giza.
So what exactly is the mystery of the pyramids when it's phrased that way? What is the mystery that you've discovered?
When I was doing my research, I had no clue what was exactly the God consciousness expecting from me. I was reading, I was learning about the pyramid. I was reading other works done by other researchers, and I was so amazed to see what they were doing. But then one night, I had another dream. In my dream, I was shown the positive and the negative side, like in a battery. So I started to understand that, wait a minute, they are telling me something here. Because I committed myself to study the pyramid, now I could get more from the consciousness. And then from that part, I could try to understand how in the pyramid could that be a battery, you know. And eventually, I went looking for information related to battery to educate myself about battery. Suddenly, I started to find relief from the work of Christopher Dunn. Mr. Christopher Dunn has done tremendous work. And I appreciate what he did because of his courage and his ability to bring the truth out the way he could investigate the Pyramid of Giza. I started to notice that there were part of battery aspect inside of the pyramids because of the investigation he was doing. So I started to feel more confident about, yes, there is an aspect of the battery in the pyramid. And eventually, as I was able to absorb that knowledge, that there was an aspect of a battery inside the pyramid, a second dream came. But that dream was a class. I was given a class, a course. There was a teacher, and I couldn't see his face, but he was teaching me how a septic system works. You know the septic system? In all houses and commercial facilities, they have a septic system, a septic tank, a septic tank. So I was being introduced to the concept with a video. It was alive. I could see everything in the dream. And so when I woke up, I understood too that they were telling me, now learn about the septic tank because you will see it inside of the construction of the pyramids. Honestly, it took me almost a month or two to understand how to realize a septic tank inside of the pyramids because there was so many material, so many images. But with that inner willingness to learn more, it just flew in my consciousness. I could see more clearly from the queen chamber. I could see from the king chamber to the queen chamber to the Axonan passages and to the grotto up to the subterranean chamber. Everything started to make sense. But I had to study what was a septic tank used for. So, and eventually, many dreams came out to show me other aspect of how energy from the universe is transferred from the sky into the pyramids.
When you're talking about the septic tank, are you making a connection here between I'm just guessing here the cleansing power of the pyramids and the action of a septic tank? Is that what you're talking about?
No. They were very wise, introducing me every concept very slowly.
So you're actually talking about a septic tank within the pyramids, a physical thing. Okay.
Yes, which is the civil engineer aspect of the pyramids. Now, how do I understand the whole concept? The pyramids were built as a battery. Let's look at it like you have a car. Your car is a battery, right? So, from the battery, I grasp the understanding of how they built the pyramids, and then yet there was stone. Studying the pyramid, what work was done before, helped me a lot to bridge together certain particularity of the stones. You will have the limestones, you will have the granite, you will have the basalts. Then I have to study the chemical composition of those stones of those rocks. So I came to understand that, yes, they built the pyramid, the battery, using stones. Now, what was the purpose of that construction? Inside the battery, we have electrolytes. Electrolyte is the liquid that facilitates the transfer of energy, electrons. So, as I understood that, I could also relate why they designed this, a septic tank inside the battery. Because a battery, when we put all the ingredient, let me all the chemical component inside, it needs certain way to operate within the pyramid. So the septic tank is only a channel that was used for the result of the battery to reach the underground. You know, when I started to study the aspect of a battery, it brought me to electricity. We all know that a battery is used to produce electricity. Now I question myself, what was electricity used for inside the pyramid? So that was the biggest question. And then I had a dream. Actually, this dream happened before my visit inside the pyramid. That dream came out. In the dream, I could see a robot made of irons. You know, the metal irons. The robot was on the street and there was no life on earth. It was shining, and the robot made of metal was masters of the street. The dream started to come. I said, what was that dream? I started to bridge that probably they were telling me something before all of this. So to understand irons, my attention went to the earth core. The underground our planet, there is what is called the earth core. And the earth core is responsible for our magnetic field. I started to study magnetic field. I started to study the earth core. And then to bridge the pyramid with the earth core, I have been reading material from scientists. I wanted to know who among the scientists have done some work on magnetism. What were they trying to understand about magnetism? And who has done something related to the earth core and magnetism? So, the God force, you know, when I learned a lot of things. When you do something for God, it always guides you. It guides you gradually as you commit yourself to the mission. I came across books by this lady called Gillian Turner, North Pole, South Pole. This book was a blessing for me, because as I saw that book at the library, I picked it up, I started to read it inside the library, because I knew there was a connection with what I was doing to understand the final aspect of the pyramid. As I read the book, keep on reading, I came to a particular chapter where she mentioned a scholar in electromagnetic field research who was trying to understand how the sun was probably responsible for feeding the earth core. So when I read his work, everything started to fall exactly, that this man was on the right path during the concept of the pyramid, which is the battery. And that is how, from the sun, energy is converted inside the pyramid. Let me tell you, there is a lot of work to be done inside the pyramid. That work, I cannot write it on the book, or I go out and start talking about it, because I was asked to give that knowledge to governments, not to the public.
Maybe we can talk a little bit about how the U.S. responded to your approach to them.
In the dream, I was told that I should not share that knowledge to anyone unless it is first shared with the United States government, which was President Barack Obama. So I wrote, I asked some friend of mine who are very good in English. I said, look, help me. I draft a letter to the leader of the country. I would like you to keep the law of silence on that letter, but please make sure that the English is positive and he can understand what is happening. So I have witness. We wrote the letter. The night before, I have to mail the letter. I had a dream. That dream was a challenge for me. In my dream, I was in a coffee shop. I was in a coffee shop. I was leaving the coffee shop, and then someone stood up behind me, took a knife, and threw it on my back. They threw me the knife on my back. And then I woke up. I wonder, how come I was preparing? I knew tomorrow was the day. That was when I woke up in the morning. I was going to mail the letter. But in the night, God is telling me, look, if you accept that mission, you must also be willing that people will betray you. Because I asked a friend of mine who are American, what does it mean in America when people throw a knife on your back? They say, oh, in America it means they're going to betray you. I say, well, that's no problem, but the divine mission is more important because the knowledge God has given me has to be known to the public. And my life is not important because I am on God's mission. So God tested my faith, my willingness. I said, I'm going to mail the letter to them, to the United States government. And so I did. I made the letter with a delivery confirmation. I waited for the feedback. Nothing came. And then I wrote to different channels to let them know that I sent something very important and I will need the feedback. Now, the content of the letter, I am not allowed to release it to the public. But some people in the United States, from the white race, they know what was in that letter. That's why I say, wait, I feel comfortable because people knew my attention. And people knew that as a resident, I have come to discover something. I wanted first that knowledge to be known by the country who has given me the right to stay. So that was the beginning. And eventually, since they were not responding to my letter, I waited. I sent different ways to let them know. Please, I called the White House. And they told me, yes, we received your letter. I said, okay, I'm waiting. And eventually, since things were not happening, I decided to put some basic aspect of my discovery in a book. That was the first book I wrote and shared to many political leaders because I felt that the people I had been trying to associate with to help in this project were not coming back to me. Let other people know about it because this knowledge involves the Earth planet. It is not only about America. It's about Africa. It's about Europe. It's about Asia. It's about Antarctic. And it's about other continents, other places. So how could I just wait on the United States? I don't know what is the plan. What are the plan? I don't know what are they keeping silent, but it started to bother me. It became like a psychological war, And then I said, no, I know this kind of techniques. I don't want to get into it. So I shared the book to many professors of universities.
Can you talk about how the energy from these pyramids would be focused in order to do these wonderful things? Like for instance, say the energy from pyramid, say affecting an individual, would they have to go into the pyramid somehow? Would they have to be near the pyramids, or could you send somehow that energy around to the other side of the planet, for instance, to just to use that simple example?
Those who built the pyramid, had also created like laboratory healing rooms inside pyramids. They were very wise. They did a lot of work. They knew, okay, the primary focus was the health core. But out of that science, they could have derivative. We will do this, we will take this, and it came out that the stone structures, when applied, let's say frequency, because energy is frequency. We are coming to understand energy is frequency. Energy is sound. If we understand that energy can be converted into sound, can be converted into music, then we understand why. Let's say, for example, why it is that when you enter the pyramid of Bosnia, the pyramid of the sun, people experience certain healing effects.
If things go according to how you would like, in 20 years or 50 years, what could the Earth be like then?
Thank you for the question. Because every time when I go out, I look at hurricanes, I look at tornado devastating Florida or devastating other states, other countries. I say to myself, and the power goes down. The power is down. People stay in houses without electricity. It happened to New York City recently. As I was leaving the northeast of France, it happens over there. But imagine if people understand the power, the energy power source of the pyramid, will people suffer again? I don't think so. We will be free. Imagine we understand that we can have antenna in our houses that can connect with the great source power in free energy. Wouldn't be good for people to survive that way? So I would like it a gift to humanity. It's a gift to the next generations. It's a gift for nations. We can start now and go as much as we can. And I am confident we will improve as long as government do not play dirty trick to one another. There is a condition. As long as leaders, the current or the next to come, do not play dirty tricks to other nations, they have to work together. They have to work together so that we could, as a continent, as a citizen of the universe, learn as much as we can and translate it for the next generation to follow up. So this is my message to them. We have to work together, and eventually I will bring my African brothers on board, because I learned one thing. Look, I tried to ask for European and American to help me. People have tried to discourage me. Nobody helped me. So now I said to myself, wait a minute. Perhaps I should help my people. It became like a natural instinct of survival. I will call on African nations to come together so we can work on that project, because I'm sure that it will help them prepare against climate change.